A husband that degrades his wife by word or deed only degrades himself. For the status of a leader is directly dependent upon the status of his followers. And it is a wife who is a husband's essential and first follower. A marriage that is imbued with the spirit of patriarchal hierarchy is one in which the wife is highly honored and never degraded, for the husband's honor is necessarily commensurate with hers. The very wellspring of patriarchal charism is a unique and outstanding devotion a husband has for his wife. And I really appreciate Dr. Dilsaver bringing this up in here, because it gives me an opportunity to elaborate on that about my own marriage and about what I mean about these things of the submission of the wife and her yielding and those sort of things. For one, if I was going to be one who was going to degrade my wife, that would really show bad judgment on my part. You know, if I was to think that she was incompetent or not smart or whatever you want to call it, then, you know, that would show bad judgment on my part. You know, why would I, you know, marry someone like that? So I wouldn't have been good at choosing a wife. And for my own marriage and my own experience in marriage, I would say that, you know, I highly respect the role of my wife. And this is where people get a bit confused on this scripture, where St. Paul says to submit to one another. That doesn't mean to reverse roles or to share roles. What it means is to respect each other's God-given role, a position within the family. I have an immense amount of respect for my wife, for her as a woman, as a grown woman, to yield to me, you know, just as an imperfect man, you know, trying to be godly, trying to lead my family the best way I can, the best I know how, after having prayed and made decisions over things. She yields to me. I have an immense amount of respect for her for doing that, you know, because she is an adult woman and she does have her own thoughts and her own points of view. And of course, she shares those with me, and those go into and are very important in the decisions that I do make for my family. I need to know what she sees as going on with the kids, or what's going on in her own heart before I decide things. And so I have an immense amount of respect for that. But whenever, you know, I'll ask her to do things, or I'll convince her to go in a certain direction, how she yields, it's a beautiful thing, and it builds up my manhood. It builds up me as a man to be who I need to be. And this is the way a properly functioning marriage is supposed to be. And as it says back here, and this is in the Catechism of Trent, that she yields. And I also have an immense amount of respect for her as a mother in sacrificing her body to bring forth new life. Having seen her go through that process 7 times and bring forth another child into the world, and all the discomfort and the pain and the suffering that goes along with that. And I don't mean to paint it in a real negative light, because it is a beautiful thing, and a woman who is expecting does have some beautiful thoughts and feelings and emotions that all go along with that process through having a child. But then once they bring forth a child, and over again raising an infant and nurturing an infant with her very own body, and getting up in the night to care for a sick child and rearing that child and helping to educate them, have an immense amount of respect for that. So why would I degrade somebody that is that charitable and loving just to exert my own position. It's a terrible thing to do. So that's definitely not what is meant here by the wife submitting. And again, I want to emphasize that that is an action on her part. It's nothing that the man can do. If the husband forces anything, then it's not submission. The wife isn't submitting. He's manipulating her. And nowhere in here in any document does it say, husbands, manipulate your wives. It says, be a good leader. It says, love your wife as Christ loved the church. So, to be sacrificial in our leadership. How did Christ love the church? He didn't say, well, somebody else will lead. Blessed Mother, you lead. He didn't get out of his role of leadership. He still led the church and gave himself up for her. My name is Raylan Alamo. Come back and see us. God bless.